Hey guys, attorney Marc Victor here with the Attorneys for Freedom Law Firm. And today I want to talk to you about jury nullification. People ask me sometimes, Marc, what's jury nullification? How does it work? Are you in favor of it? Is it a good thing, a bad thing? What's the scoop? Tell me about jury nullification. So that's what this video is going to be about. So let me start by just telling you generally what juries do. Juries at trials, their job is to find the facts. We already know what the law is. The judge will give the jury the law. The law is generally settled, or at least settled by the time you get to trial. If there are questions about the law, then the attorneys argue about this, bring it to the judge. The judge settles that. So the judge says what the law is. But when you have a trial, what that means is there's still a disagreement about the facts. And so what the job of the jury is generally is to find the facts, figure out what happened, and then take the law from the judge and apply the facts to the law and then render a verdict. Say, is the person guilty? Was it proven by the state in a criminal case beyond a reasonable doubt? Or not, in which case you find a not guilty verdict. That's how it's supposed to work in the United States. At least that's the way it works now, or the way it's supposed to work now. How does jury nullification factor into this? Well, jury nullification is when the jury not only finds the facts, but also judges the law and says, in essence, look, we don't like the law in this case, at least as applied to the facts of this case. We think the law is wrong, and so we're going to nullify the law. So why would we want a jury to do this? Well, for starters, if the law's really screwed up, and imagine a circumstance like, for example, today, if you're living in a state where, say, for example, marijuana is still illegal, right? The peaceful possession of marijuana by a competent adult on the competent adult's property. They're not driving a vehicle or something like that. A true victimless crime. Many people feel like the law's wrong in this case. And so using the doctrine of jury nullification, what would happen here is a jury would maybe listen to the facts, and even if they found, yes, it's true, this person knowingly possessed marijuana, and under the law, they would be found guilty, a jury has the power to simply judge the law and say, you know, we don't agree with that law. We're going to nullify that law. And notwithstanding the fact that the prosecutor has proven each element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt, the jury would still come back with a not guilty. Now, the state of the law today is that courts generally recognize, at least courts in the United States generally recognize, that juries actually have this power. That's right. A jury in a criminal case today actually has the power to judge the law and to come back with a not guilty verdict if they don't like the law, they don't think it should apply in this case under these particular facts. However, absolutely prohibited, the lawyers are and the judges, from telling the jury that they have this power. So said another way, the jury has the power to nullify the law today, but not the right to nullify the law. In fact, in many jurisdictions, the judge will make the jurors raise their right hand and swear an oath to actually follow the law as given to them by the judge. So my personal opinion is that's probably not the right way we should handle this. In fact, the founding fathers of our country may very well have said, look, the jury is supposed to be the last check on governmental power. And because of that, the jury has the right and the power to nullify the law. We should be able to tell them about this. As a criminal defense lawyer, I would love it if the law changed such that I could stand out in front of a jury and say, ladies and gentlemen, even if you believe that the prosecutor has proven this case, think victimless crimes, right? A peaceful possession of some drug or prostitution or gambling for that matter, or some other totally victimless crime. Wouldn't it be great if the criminal defense lawyer could stand up in front of the criminal jury in a criminal case and say, ladies and gentlemen, even if you believe that the prosecutor has proven each element of this alleged crime beyond a reasonable doubt, you can still judge the law and say, you know what, the law's ridiculous. We're still going to find the person not guilty. Now, to be clear, the defense lawyer cannot do this today. If the defense lawyer hints about the power of the jury to nullify the law, this will almost always lead to a mistrial and possibly even some kind of ethics problem or some sanction for the criminal defense lawyer who intentionally brought this up in front of the jury for the purpose of causing a mistrial. That's going to be misconduct. It's going to be unethical conduct for the defense lawyer to do this. I don't think that should be the case. I think that is how things should work when the laws are unjust, which some of our laws are today, in my opinion. The other question is there a role for jury nullification even if we get the laws straight? In other words, the laws don't outlaw any victimless crimes. The laws only outlaw conduct which is an initiation of force or a fraud or some type of coercion, or somebody has placed another person at a substantial risk of harm. In my view, this should be the entire universe of criminal law should fit within that box. Is there still a place for jury nullification here? I think the answer is yes. Because really, some people might argue that no law or rule could actually encompass every possible factual situation. In other words, there might be a factual situation, even when the law is the correct law, where the right thing to do, if you will, is to actually violate the law. And so how should we deal with this in, say, a perfectly just society? Well, jury nullification is one solution here, where a jury would come back and say not guilty. Another solution, which is one that I favor, and this is in the context of we got the laws figured out correctly. The laws do not outlaw victimless crimes in the criminal world. So let's just say what should happen in this type of circumstance, in my opinion, is the jury ought to be able to come back in a criminal case and take the punishment of incarceration off the table. In other words, they would still find the person guilty of violating the law, but not eligible for prison or jail. So anyways, that's how I think, in my opinion, jury nullification ought to work in the context where we've got the law straight. In the context where we don't have the law straight, which is right now, where we're still outlawing victimless crimes, juries ought to be told about their right and the power to nullify the law. But to be clear, that is not the law today. So now you know a little bit about what jury nullification is and how it works. Again, my name is Mark J. Victor. I'm with the Attorneys for Freedom law firm. You can always get a hold of me. Love to hear from you, whether you agree or disagree. My email is Marc, M-A-R-C, @attorneysforfreedom.com. You can find more about our law firm and the various videos we put out by just going to our website, attorneysforfreedom.com. Thanks for paying attention.